Hi, Kalpun Piso here. You know, the greatest brain ever, Stephen Hawking, the scientist, said God is irrelevant. There is no God. The universe created itself. The universe from nothing. Well, this other brilliant man, Dr. Krauss, has been saying that for a long time. Many scientists are. There is no God. We create all that with the brain. When it's educated and get to know a lot of things, fit in with a lot of information, collective knowledge, then we come up with the idea that everything is created in the brain. Science is born. But you have to be an atheist, like in believing nonsense of religious psychosis, to understand the facts.
Arizona to start what I think is an extremely exciting initiative. Associate Director of the Beyond Center and Co-Director of the Cosmology Initiative and Director of the New Origins Initiative at Arizona State University. Origins of all kinds, right across the board, from the origin of the universe to the origin of life to the origin of everything you can think of. What an amazingly exciting initiative to get started at a university.
It's kind of useful, I think, because I'm going to talk about our modern picture of cosmology and how it's changed our view of the universe, the past and the future. In some sense, how that picture is clearly remarkable, and far more remarkable than the fairy tales that are made up in most religious situations.
Most religions? All religions believe, accept imaginary friends as true. In other words, it's a problem with the brain. It's like schizophrenics. Dr. Krauss is brilliant. It took him years and years and years of collective knowledge and deductive thinking to be able to know what he knows.
Not knowing. That's a key part of the universe. And that, again, is so different than the sterile aspect of religion, where the excitement is apparently knowing everything, although clearly knowing nothing. And the observation was that the universe was static and eternal. That was the conventional wisdom in science at the time, that the universe had been around forever and would be around forever. Because this theory of general relativity suffered from the same problems that Newtonian gravity suffers from. Gravity sucks. It always pulls, it never pushes. And if you...
In the 1600s, the whole Europe was infected with Christophenia, Christian retardation. People that believe in imaginary friends to be reality. And if you don't accept the imaginary friends as true, they burn you at the stake. And Newton was one of those.
Motion and gravitation and so forth.
Yeah, Newton was a schizophrenic.
Previous to Newton,
sick.
The idea
He was brilliant, but he said, you know, had this crazy psychosis.
God sent the angels to guide the planets around the sun, in there, or alternatively around the Earth, but you know, the idea of you know, God himself or the angels out there pushing the planets around was a perfectly reasonable explanation.
See that?
Well, Newton thought that God was much grander. If, like the great watchmaker, you know, we're talking 1600s now, those metaphors were very popular. If God could have created all of that and managed to make the planets go around the sun purely by natural law rather than having the angels out there giving stuff nudges.
We must realize that about over 100 years ago, they had no idea about neurology, and that the brain created all the mind and the thinking and the delusions. They had no idea. Today we know it's a fact. They had no idea about DNA. Not until 1953 that was discovered. They had no idea. They believe in God and imaginary friends, which is a psychosis, just like a schizophrenia.
The Church has long taught that all heavenly bodies revolve around the earth.
How stupid people are?
Since the time of Aristotle.
Stuck in the past.
Copernicus published his great book in 1542, and it was regarded as a very, very important book by professional astronomers and mathematicians, but it did not have a high degree of impact in what we would call popular culture. The fact that Galileo, with his own eyes, could observe bodies moving around in the heaven and obviously orbiting another body, at least one other center of motion in the universe.
Such findings are more than groundbreaking. They're heresy, an affront to the Church.
Yeah, thanks to Christophenia.
Galileo tests the water, publishing a book of observations called The Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. Word of its dissenting viewpoint reaches Pope Urban VIII, who hands the matter to the Inquisition while in Rome. He is interrogated under grave suspicion of heresy.
The disease of Christianity was controlling everything many years back and burning people that like science. This is the problem. Who needs Christophania? We're in the 21st century, not the 12th.
Giordano Bruno burned at the stake, only 32 years
together. And so he tried to figure out what to do, and he was able to change his theory slightly, consistent with the mathematical symmetries that allowed him to develop it. So I wanted to show him to develop it.
The reason I want to Krauss' genius is that he can tell between fact and fiction, between religious delusions and proven facts. In other words, he's an atheist, mentally healthy.
To mean that, in fact, the laws of physics take us right back to the beginning of time without God. What you take from it depends upon your religious and metaphysical beliefs. But whatever you say, the Big Bang happened. And I think that's if we could just convince a lot of people of just that simple thing, that the universe is the way it is, whether we like it or not, I think we'd overcome a lot of problems in this country.
Exactly. And if you only could see that the cause of all the problems in this country is religious psychosis, especially Christophania. Religious beliefs and faith and supernatural, like schizophrenia, are as useful as pneumonia, dementia, brain cancer, headaches, and all kinds of diseases. They are not needed. Also like compulsive obsessive disorder, fear, depression, and all that. All created in the brain. Just like religious beliefs and schizophrenia and other mental disorders.
A period of over 10 years, Brenda Milner thought that this applied to all areas of knowledge. That everything that H.M. learned in short-term memory, he could not convert into long-term.
Play with the hippocampus, I can remove believing God on anyone.
Discovery.
Believe in God, let me fix your hippocampus.
Neuroscience meeting
It was a different ancestor still, it was called Adam. But the amazing thing is that every atom in your body came from a star that exploded. And the atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand.
The fact is, we are composed of atoms.
This theory is that the brain builds a version of the universe.
We are universe within.
And projects this version of the universe like a bubble all around us.
It's the most poetic thing I know about physics. You are all stardust. You couldn't be here if stars hadn't exploded, because the elements, the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, iron, all the things that matter for evolution, weren't created at the beginning of time. They're created in the nuclear furnaces of stars, and the only way they can get into your body is if the stars were kind enough to explode. So forget Jesus. The stars died so that you could be here today. You could be here today.
Show you why size matters. We'll start with the big, and then get even bigger. From the solar system, to our Milky Way galaxy, to the colossal universe. From there, we'll zero in on the minuscule bits of matter, building blocks of everything. We'll show you how they combine and recombine to create every object we see, be it a star, a planet, or even us, inexplicably small that binds everything together in this great cosmic web we call the universe.
Hawking's new book, The Grand Design, in it, he says, because of gravity, quote, the universe can and will create itself from nothing.
Exactly.
The book hits stores next week.
Believing God as in schizophrenia as a psychosis that don't let knowledge get in. Professor Hawking just proved that God is a delusion. It does not exist except in sick brains. Pace Dios.